Hello and welcome to another video. Welcome to my channel, Mark II Madness. I love Mark II Golfs and I'm a bit crazy as well, so yeah, good combination. Yeah, basically I've been quite busy. I've actually got the engine in the silver Mark II now, so the VR6 is in the engine bay. Yeah, let me show you. Da-da! There you go. So yeah, I got the engine in. It was a bit of a squeeze to get it in there. There's not a lot of clearance on the driver's side at all, so it's very tight in here. But it does sit nicely on all the engine mounts. So the Mark III engine mounts sitting nicely there, and on the gearbox mount as well, and on the front mount. So what I had to do, I did it all by myself, so single-handedly got it in there. I got the engine to a certain point, and it actually got jammed and stuck. Basically, I had the drive shafts in. I had the drive shafts in the car already, which is what I've done before when I did my 16 valve GTI. But yeah, for some reason, you can't. I couldn't see a way of getting this in with the drive shafts in place, so I had to jack the car up with the engine sort of dangling in position, take the drive shafts out and then put them in afterwards. So I'd recommend that if you're putting one of these engines in your car, put the drive shafts in afterwards, because I found it quite hard and actually got it stuck. I got the gearbox actually jammed on this, so that was quite tricky. It's also quite tight when you're trying to get it in on this piece here, so you have to be careful on here. I had to basically get a scaffold bar and kind of like wedge it, get it in there like that. One thing I did find is the back two engine mounts lined up really nicely, but the front one was a bit tricky. So what I had to do to get this to line up, I had to loosen off the bolt underneath. So this was all basically loose. Left the bolt threaded in the bottom, not completely remove it, and then basically get this bolt in and then tighten it all up, because the trouble is it's hard once it's in position. Once this is bolted in tight, it's hard to line this up. So yeah, have it loose, have both the bolts loosely fitted first, and it kind of finds its own position once you've got it in that point. Yeah, so there we go. This is just loosely on there at the moment, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like basically. It's going to look quite smart. So you might be wondering, where is the video of me dropping this engine in the car? Well, I started to make the video, but basically there's way too much swearing and bad language, throwing spanners around. So I didn't really want to put that out there in the world. I mean, it was quite a difficult job to do by yourself. If you've got a mate who can come and help you, I would highly recommend it, because yeah, try and do it by yourself. I actually managed to get the whole engine like wedged and stuck in there, so it was actually stuck on the chassis leg and on the drive shaft. So I was actually panicking because I thought, oh no, the engine's like wedged in place. So I had to actually jack the car up and basically try and get it all unwedged. So I had to remove the drive shafts with the engine kind of hanging and wedged in the engine bay, and then I managed to lower it all back down and then get a scaffold bar and move the engine and get it into position. The other thing I found as well, I had this lower strut brace fitted to the subframe. What I found is the sump, you can't have one of these lower strut braces with a VR6 engine, because the sump, there's no clearance with the sump, basically it just gets stuck on there. So that was another fun job. So with the engine kind of balanced in there, I had to jack the car up and remove that from the subframe whilst it was all kind of dangling in position. So yeah, it was quite a tricky job. But once it was all in position and it all bolted up, it wasn't too bad. So yeah, it's all good. I'll show you a little bit more. Yeah, so you've actually got quite a lot of space down the back here, which is quite nice to work on. So yeah, I've got the down pipe bolted up, so that went quite nicely. That's all bolted up together. The gearbox side of things is all nicely in there. So yeah, this rear engine mount here sits really nice. You've actually got lots of room to get to the drive shaft bolts as well, which is nice. So you can get to both drive shafts. There's a lot of access down the back of the engine, which is nice. So yeah, I've used the standard Mark II Golf drive shafts on this, which bolt straight up to the VR6 gearbox. What I have noticed is it does sit quite far forward in the engine bay. So when some people say about VR6's handling, that might be what they're talking about, because obviously the weight is quite far forward. Whereas if you look at an 8-valve GTI, obviously the engine is sat quite far back. Obviously it's leaning backwards, whereas this is leaning forwards. So that might be the kind of thing that people are talking about with the handling. But I mean, it should be all right, because it's got poly bushes and it's on coilovers as well. So we'll see how it handles compared to the 8-valve. Obviously it's going to be a hell of a lot quicker, but yeah, we see how it goes around corners. I don't want to go crazy and crash it, so after doing all this work, we have to be careful. I don't know whether I mentioned, but I did upgrade the brakes. So I've got a Corrado G60 brake master cylinder, and I've got G60 brakes as well. 280mm brakes under there as well. So yeah, the next job on this is going to be to plumb it all in, basically. So I need to connect up all the wiring harness, order up some coolant hoses and get all that in position, tidy up some of this wiring here, which is the original Mark II wiring for the lights. Yeah, another thing I've done as well, I've decided to take my 8-valve off the road for the winter, because it needs a couple of little jobs doing. I did think about driving it through the winter, but I don't want to get all the salt all over it and everything. So I've got a little bit of an interior leak. It leaks through the door seal at the top. On the passenger side, it leaks in through this seal here a little bit. So I think the actual door is slightly out of alignment, because the seal's new. I replaced the seal. Also the heater box needs redoing, because all the flaps are all disintegrated, so it doesn't divert the hot heat to where it needs to go very well. And to do that, I need to take all the dashboard out and everything else, and I want to also basically replace the windscreen as well, because I've got a few bullet holes on the windscreen as well. And obviously if I take the windscreen out, I'm probably going to have to deal with some rust underneath the scuttle as well. So I've decided, rather than using it through the winter and have, you know, the water getting into it and making it all damp, I decided whilst it was nice, I got it all clean, got it into the garage. Don't worry, I did actually take it out for a good old rip before I put it in the garage. So it runs pretty well. It definitely got a lot of torque compared to a standard 8-valve, because it's got a 2-litre bottom end in it. But it's still got a few little niggly things I need to sort out. So yeah, I've got this in the garage as well now. Another thing I also did on the silver one is I adjusted, when I got the engine in, I adjusted the front coilovers a little bit. So I've not gone for stupidly low, because I want to be able to drive it. And what that allows me to do as well is I've got a fairly okay clearance on the sump. So it's actually, I've got 5 inches. Yeah, I've got 5 inches on the sump to the ground, so it's not too bad. I think if you went any lower, you would have problems. But yeah, it's not totally slammed, but it's still pretty good. So yeah, I'd recommend not going too low unless you want to change the sump out for a Mark, I believe it's the R32 or Mark 5 Golf sump, I believe is shorter. You have to change the oil pickup and a few other things as well. But I wanted to just see if I could get away with using the original on this, which I can. So yeah, I think at this ride height, I've got 5 inches, like I say, from the sump to the floor. I've seen some with less than that, like 3 inches, which is, yeah, too risky. So yeah, I'm going to crack on next and get all this plumbed in. And like I say, I need to order up some coolant hoses. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys the engine is in. Happy days. Yeah, cheers guys for watching. Yeah, sorry I didn't make a full video with me actually dropping the engine in, because like I say, it just yeah, I was a lot of swearing and bad language, so it wasn't really an ideal video. But I will show some more in-depth videos of plumbing everything in and getting it running. So yeah, stay tuned. If you want to see more Mark II Golf content, give us a subscribe. See, I've got 3, but I've got the where is it? The 8 valve, the 2 litre 8 valve bad boy, which old school. Like I said, I've got another Mark II as well, which I'm going to be putting a 20 valve turbo engine in, which I've got under here. So yeah, I've also got a 20 valve turbo track car that I'm going to build as well. So yeah, cheers guys.